Hello friends, this is the Cryptonian taking a look at BTC Bitcoin. It is currently Tuesday, North American East Coast time, 10 p.m. approximately. And we can see here on the right, we do have some red, a lot of red percentages here. Uh, the market is correcting a little bit, and we can see that over here, which is understandable because it's been pretty bullish and other people are taking profits. And we can see here on the chart here for Bitcoin that we are running into a little bit of selling, and with that again is natural as well after such a run from 33, 34 down here. Now I'm going to try to make this as quickly as possible but as effectively as possible. Currently we have a reverse head and shoulders pattern here on the daily. This is significant. That's the shoulder, this is the head here, and this is another shoulder trying to form. Now that being said, there's a couple scenarios. Now the bullish scenario would be a break of the neckline. The neckline is here on this blue line, okay? That's going to be roughly 45,500, 45,600. But one thing that concerns me about that is the 200 daily moving average right above the breakout lines. That's going to be tough. I mean, this is the 200 daily moving average on the daily, okay? It's significant, and this is going to be a place where there's profit taking out of fear, and not only profit taking but shorting, heavy shorting by the bears. Okay, so we need to make sure that we understand that this is a high risk area. All right, this is not going to be an area where Bitcoin just walks right through it. I mean, it could, but that's highly unlikely. There's probably going to be a lot of volatility in this area. Whenever the Bitcoin price is at or around the 200 daily moving average, we do see a lot of volatility. We've seen that in the past. We saw that back here when Bitcoin was coming down. The moving average was crossing over the 200 daily moving average. By the way, excuse me, the 50 crossing over the 200, sorry. By the way, this is what's called a death cross. Okay, that is bearish. However, this bearish death cross was pretty much expected, and it's not something that would really make a difference now because momentum has changed and shifted in the market. I do believe that we've already seen the bottom at 33, 34, and I'll talk about a scenario if we do the bearish scenario, which would possibly pertain to those price points. But first, let me say this, that the white line here is the 50-day moving average, and as it's turning up and starting to contact or touch or cross over that 200 daily moving average, that is what's called a golden cross. Now, when the white 50-day moving average crossed over the red 200 daily moving average downward, that was a death cross, and that is bearish. That's one of the reasons why we saw the 33, 34 price point down here. Now the opposite is true. Okay, we are seeing a momentum shift, an attempt to add a momentum shift, and if we can maintain this and go higher and break that 200 daily moving average with the price line, with the Bitcoin price, then we could actually start pulling this 50-day moving average up for an attempted golden cross, where the 50-day moving average white line crosses up above the 200 daily moving average. So back here is the death cross, which is bearish, and the opposite is true. Right here it would be a cross over this would be a golden cross, which is bullish. That being said, this is going to be very difficult to break. It's not going to be easy unless we have massive momentum coming in, and which is possible. I mean, this is Bitcoin, right? I mean, we've seen so many different scenarios with Bitcoin, and nothing really surprises me at this point. Now, the support of these two shoulders here, we've got a left shoulder and we have a right shoulder. The support of these two shoulders is approximately 42,000. So we know that a break of the 45,600 is going to be a bullish attempt to go higher. A break of the 42,000, which is the support of the support line of the two shoulders here, would be, or 41,500 or 42,000 would be an attempt at the price to go lower, and that would be bearish. Okay. Although I would not consider this being broken until we need to be careful here. We need to give Bitcoin leeway. Bitcoin's very volatile, so I would say 40,700. If we go below 40,700, this yellow line, then I would say that is some type of a break in momentum, and then we could possibly be testing this trend line of 38 to 39 down here. All right, and it's possible if we see a lot of resistance up here when we try to break it. Now we do see a red candle here. Okay, so we are pulling back. There is profit taking, so we could see further days of some type of a pullback. If we see that, I'm going to be watching this line, this support line for the two shoulders very closely, and if we hold that, then I'm going to be considering taking a position down here for another push higher. All right. That being said, we need to be careful, because when we take a look at the volume profile, we can see why that this is going to be such a difficult place for Bitcoin. There's a lot of volume, previous volume up here by the 200 daily moving average, right? So we need to be careful. We can see a lot of bearish activity, a lot of selling pressure up there at that area. And until we cross over the 200 daily moving average with the price, and until we pull the 50-day moving average up over the 200 moving average, we still technically are in a bearish setup. Okay, we need to remember that. But you can see just by this VP, the volume profile, you can see all of this white is the volume here, and it shows that the majority of the volume is right there at that 200 daily moving average. Right up here, you can see a huge peak right here. So this is where all the volume is, and Bitcoin's going to have it's going to be a challenge for Bitcoin to cross over that and claim that in a bullish fashion. That being said, we still are in a bull cloud, green bull cloud on the daily, which is a temporary change in momentum and trend. But we just don't know yet until that if that's going to turn out to be a permanent macro change in trend, until we can flip the price, can flip the 200 daily moving average, and the 50 daily moving average can cross over and create that golden cross above the 200. Now let me tell you, in my opinion, not financial advice of course, but when and if and when the price pushes up and claims the 200 daily moving average and starts pulling the 50 up over the 200, you're going to want to be in, or should I say, well, I don't want to, it's not financial advice. I don't want to make it sound like I'm giving you advice, but I'm going to want to be in my position by the time that occurs. Because once that happens, Bitcoin could possibly take off, and the market could possibly take off, and then it's going to be psychologically difficult to jump in with any type of buy, because of, a fear of the price coming down and losing money, and this idea in your mind, because we've had such low prices, psychologically it's difficult to justify paying a higher price here, and you feel like buying up here is going to be chasing the price, chasing the pump. So, and of course, in a way it kind of would be, right? There is a inherent risk to it if there is any type of rejection or hard sell-off. So that's justified. So in my opinion, I want to see a retest of this blue neckline here, which is going to be, like I said, around 42,000, and that's going to be my entry point for the next push higher, okay, for something like this. All right. Now, that being said, let's take a look at some of the volumes here. We see declining volume, which is healthy. We don't want to see massive, massive volume. We want to see declining volume, and we want to see the price holding up here, and that's what it's doing so far. That means that when more volume starts to come in here, that the price will then start pushing higher with strength, because volume precedes price. Volume precedes price, right? It takes volume to push the price higher and to hold it there. Otherwise, it's very risky, and low volume bull runs can be very risky. They can sell off very quickly. So that being said, let's take a look at really quick here. Let's take a look at some of the other data points here. Looking at the accumulation distribution, the volume oscillator, we see that we are above midline. We're above the zero line, which means we are bullish, which means we are accumulating, we are buying. Now we do see here we have a little dip, okay? That little dip is showing that there is some selling going on, but the price is still staying up here in this relative area between these two blue lines, the resistance and the support on the shoulders that I pointed out before. We do see that the RSI, this is the daily again, 60. RSI is 60. So that's giving us plenty of room to push higher. With crypto can run up into 80, 85 on the RSI. So there's plenty of room to push higher. And we have here the stochastics has crossed over once again, pointing up, showing that we could be having an impulse to the upside. Okay. And that's what we're seeing as well with this little run up here. Okay. The Fisher, this is interesting. Fisher indicator has crossed over as well, indicating that we could see another impulse, another momentum move to the upside, a continuation. So all of this said, friends, this is a bullish setup for Bitcoin. Now again, there are no guarantees in crypto, and the momentum can shift very quickly, sometimes within minutes, sometimes within hours. One thing to look at is the 4-hour. I'd like to call your attention to the 4-hour here, and you can see here where on the 4-hour we have developing a candle here that possibly could turn into, if we see more selling take place, this could turn into, or this actually was a little while ago, this actually was a bearish engulfing candle. Now we see back here when we had a bearish engulfing candle, the price did have a correction. And we did have the red candle did come down here, and it was a bearish engulfing, but it did not close bearish engulfing yet. So if it does close below, if the price does close below the 43,950, then that will be a bearish engulfing, and we can expect lower prices and Bitcoin to come down and test on the 4-hour lower price points. Possibly, the 10-day moving average is here at 43,720, but with a bearish engulfing, I would expect something like 43,000 around here, 43,000 or 42,500, 42,800 in that area. That would show a shoulder developing like this. Okay. Now, if it does come down, like I said before, if it does come down to 42 and there's support here, I'm going to be placing an order here for an expected move up. So that's what I'm going to be looking for in the next, let's see, I mean, next few candles, right? So these are 4-hour candles. So, you know, the next 12, 16 hours, some type of a retracement. And that would be a short-term retracement. Okay. So there you have it, friends. I don't want to make the video too long. That's what Bitcoin is doing at the moment. That's what the current setup is for Bitcoin. It is currently bullish, very bullish. And if you've been watching the market, you know that Bitcoin has been putting in some impressive momentum to the upside, some impressive price points to the upside. So I'm going to continue to watch this. I appreciate your time. Thank you for watching. I will be making a video on my bot. I have a bot that I'm setting up right now. I have I'll show you the cryptos that I have right now for my bot so far. The cryptos that I have so far for my bot is Cody. That is one crypto that I have for the bot that's loaded in the bot already. I have, of course, BTC. I have ADA. That's another one. And I have Arweave. I have Aave. And I did have Pre, but I'm still not decided on Pre yet. Pre's pretty explosive, and I think I want to keep Pre as part of the bot. And Engine as well. I have Engine. I really like Engine. I think Engine has a lot of potential. Engine is in gaming. And you can see that I have, you know, Bitcoin, of course, but I also do have ADA because it's still a very young layer 1. And I think it has a lot of promise, especially now, you know, lately since Solana has had so many issues with what they call DDoS attacks, and, you know, whether they're really DDoS attacks or not, you know, that's debatable, whatever, but they've been having flow problems, right? Arweave is storage, Aave is DeFi, Pre is pre-search, and they're quote-unquote a competitor to Google, and Engine is gaming. So this is the first, I think, what, 7 projects that I'm looking at, and that I have already loaded into my trading bot. And I'll be going over the trading bot a little bit later in a different video. I still have a few more that I want to put in there before I you know, explain it to you guys. So that will be coming in the near future. And of course, I'm going to be doing that. I'm setting it up now for when Bitcoin puts in a momentum shift. If it breaks above the neckline here, excuse me, like I've said before, if Bitcoin breaks above this neckline here, puts in a lot of momentum to the upside, and recaptures the 200 daily moving average, that bot will be turned on. And I'll explain a little bit about that a little bit later. Thank you, friends. I appreciate you watching. Please give the video a like. I hope that this was informative for you and somewhat educational. And please remember, this is not investment advice, but I do appreciate your time, and I'll see you in the next video.